Okay, that looks better. I don't know what the heck was going on there. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel. Was it just me, or did everybody have Facebook problems this week? Because I just had this thing stick again. All right, so welcome to episode number 54 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. We are going to be on dialogue with Rick Young and hey, Sifu Nick. Hey, Randy. Who else is here? Pierre's here. Mark David Collins. All right. Greg Wilson's here. All right, good. All right, we got a good group setting up here. All right, so I've sent the invite and everything to Mr. Young. So let's see what happens. Sifu Nick, while you're here, just so you know, I tried that other technology that you introduced me to, but I'm going to have to sit down with you and have you take me through it again, because I tried to do it and it didn't work out on my own. So, all right. So let's hang out for a second, guys, and see what happens with the technology. So yeah. So as you guys are logging in, you know the deal. Be sure to say where you're logging in from, and we'll get this on. So here's what I can tell you. I'm pretty sure it's all set up. You might be aware, those of you in the JKD world might be aware that actually it's still going on up until this weekend, is the 95th birthday celebration for Taki Kimura up in Seattle. And at the same time, simultaneously, they're doing an instructors conference. So both Chris Kent and Bert Richardson were invited to come up and be part of the instructional staff at that conference. And so they've been posting stuff about it, and they are both gracious enough to agree to appear next week on the Jeet Kune Do dialogue. So we'll have a three-peat with Chris Kent, tentatively for Wednesday of next week, and then with Bert Richardson tentatively for Friday of next week. And essentially, what I asked them to do is to come back on and give us their reflections on the instructor conference and the 95th birthday celebrations for Taki Kimura. All right, so I'm just waiting to get the word from Mr. Young, and we'll get started. Between now and then, let's see. All right, so who else is here? Hey, Juan Perez. Okay, Gary Padilla. Hey, Gary. Cool. Joe Cargado. All right, Sifu Nick, I got it. But yeah, but we got to do something about that other technology that you told me about. Jorge Orellano, good deal. All right. And Paulo Cesar, Robert Zabot, cool. Hey, Mort Rendon. Okay, we got quite a contingent from the United Kingdom here. We got Steve Mosley, Neil McLeod, and then Pierre Hesved is from Norway, so we're doing good. Dallas, Texas. I'm messing with you, Sifu Nick. Hi, Carlos. And Sal's here. Good deal. Yeah, happy birthday to Nick Sagnac. Yes, that's cool, Mark. El Walid Osman, Howard Hunt. All right. Hey, Russell. Bernardo Arenas, Amir De Leon, Muhammad Ali. Good. John Casey, welcome. And Jerry Ojinsky. Okay, all right, sweet. Okay, so now all we got to do is wait for Okay, Andrew, can you find out where he is? Because he's the guest of honor. We're just waiting for him to show up. Let me make sure I did everything on my part, because sometimes I mess stuff up too. Okay. All right. Well, for those of you who've never been on an episode of the Jeet Kune Do dialogue, sometimes what happens, it hasn't happened in recent times, but sometimes what does happen is the technology gods do not smile on us. And if I can't connect with my dialogue partner, then we end up having to use other technology and do the episode what I call off camera, so we're not live on Facebook. And then that's okay, Andrew. I was half kidding. I'm sure he'll show up. But as I was saying, we end up having to do the hey Spencer, do the dialogue off camera, and then I just post it back to Facebook and to the YouTube later in the evening, if not 24 hours later. Right. So I'm just what do they call it here? Ad-libbing like a jazz musician while we wait for Mr. Young. I hope I didn't give him the wrong time. That would be funny. Because does anybody here know if Scotland has daylight savings time? I am pretty sure that we set it up for 3 p.m. my time. So let's see what happens. Hey, Mr. Porter. All right. Paulo, thank you. Yeah, that was something that I noticed also, Neil. It usually is 5 hours. I hope I didn't mess him up with that time change. Man. Oh, this one. There you go, Amir. Hey, Bo Jackson. Back in the old days when this was a young podcast, Bo Jackson used to be the first online all the time. Okay, Karen, got it. James Ashby's here. All right. I tell you, this Rick Young, he's a rock star, man. I think this is probably the largest crew of live viewers that we've had thus far. Thanks, Amir. Okay. Now I'm realizing I should have had a backup method for Sifu Rick. But hey, while we're here, if you guys want to type in any questions that you might have for Rick Young yourselves, and I'll just add it to my list of stuff that I have here. Yeah, somebody call Rick. I agree, Sifu Nick. That won't work. All right, I'm gonna send them a message and see what's. But Neil or somebody else, yeah, Neil. If you or Steve, do either of you guys have a contact number for Rick? Hey, Alan Morse. All right, let's see. Oh, once again, we'll have to do a ton of editing here. George Johnston, what's happening? Jeff Welch is here. Okay, yeah, me too. Sifu Nick. What's this? Al Walid. Oh, me practicing with Dan Inosanto. I started with Sifu Inosanto in 1983, so I'm going on 36 years with him. Okay, so that one I gotta look for more in this. Okay, so Paulo says start a cool chat. Talk a little about differences in JKD. Wow, I never heard of eclectic Jeet Kune Do. Contemporary Jeet Kune Do, I think, is something out of Paul Vunak's camp. Original Jeet Kune Do that came about. I get there was also. Do you guys remember when there was something called pre 1973 Jeet Kune Do, right? Junfan JKD. But what you say here, Paulo, we should realize that we're all the same family. Yeah, well, I think that the really cool people actually do realize that we're the same family, and have no problem. UK seminar dates in 2019. All right, John Casey. Okay, I'll try to get that for you. Oh, so Pierre Carl Scott is still around, huh? Okay, Thorsten's here. All right. I was gonna make a joke with Woody White. I was gonna make a joke with Woody White that if we take his name and we just transpose everything, then he and I could be related. All right, that's my attempt at humor there, guys. Sifu Nick says he was 4 years old when I started with Inosanto. So was I. I was 4 years old also when I went out to California on my own by myself to train with Dan Inosanto, Sifu Nick. So, Hey, Jamie. Sal wants to know how long does it take to be ranked a Sifu? Well, that depends, Sal, I guess. I mean, I personally would not use the term for somebody who has not been around about 10 years. I mean, I spoke with Sifu Dan about it one time, and he told me that, if there was such a thing as an equivalent of a black belt in JKD, then it should take about 10 years or so. All right. The cool people are here. Okay. Mick Tully. Mick Tully has the ears of everybody in the JKD world. So Mick, if you can find Rick Young for us and tell him that we've been waiting for him for about 10 minutes and get him online, I'd really appreciate it. Not in the summer, Bo Jackson. Sifu Dan's coming back. What I heard just a couple of days ago is he's coming back on in November. So, okay. All right, I'll take a look at that, Pierre. All right, George Pirano's here. Jamie, where were those Inosanto seminars that you went to? Hey, Kenneth. All right, Bob Burgess here. Yep, I agree. We got all the top people tuning in for this one. Now we just got to get, we just got to find Rick Young. Okay. All right. So there he is. It says he's watching, but he might have missed the invite. So Rick, you gotta click the invitation so that I can share live with you. All right, guys. If something's gone wrong here, I'll shut everything down and resend the invitation. Okay, there we go. Now we're cooking. Is that what happened, Sifu Nick? That might be my fault. Okay, so it says it's add in. Hey, what do you guys think? Should we leave this stuff in the final edit, or should I take it all out? I agree fully, Mick Tully. Yep, for sure. All right. I'm excited for this one too, because I even got backup material. Okay, I'll leave it in then. Hey, John Meyer, will do, Bo. All right. Okay. All right. So thumbs up for leaving all this in behind the scenes. Man, see for Nick, behind the scenes is even rawer than this. Okay. All right. I'll leave it in, guys. Okay, we gotta go phone to phone, Rick. Pierre, you're funny. Okay. All right. We're on like take 3 or so. Yeah, Woody, it is. Okay, just hang tough, guys. My box says training was with Salem. I took part in. It's a funny story, Sifu Nick. So okay, I think we got time. I can tell you the story. So it's 1983. Hey Hector, it's 1983. We're at California Martial Arts Academy camp, and on the Thursday, what we would do is you'd have kind of like a switch day. So you'd move away from whoever you were training with Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you'd train with somebody else, and then we would break early and go to the beach. So we go to the beach, and I discover that the ocean in California is too cold for a skinny kid from the island. So I didn't do any swimming, and I find Inosanto off in the corner with Daniel Duby's assistant, who is also a French Parisian wrestler, La Lutte Parisienne. And so I have, high school, I got like 9 years of French. So I start translating for the two of them, and the guy grabs me and starts throwing me around on the beach, showing Inosanto the La Lutte Parisienne. So later that evening, Daniel Duby is scheduled to do his demonstration, because I think he was supposed to be teaching a class the following week. But so at the demo, he does the boxe française demo, and then somebody says something about the grappling, right? About the French wrestling. And they ask me if I would demo with the guy again. I'm like, not really, because I was falling on the sand on the beach, but here we just got this thin carpet, right? But then I turned to Inosanto and I said, I think this was probably the first time that I called him Sifu Dan, right? And I said, do you want to see it again, Sifu Dan? And he says, yes, if you don't mind. And so we did it. Mark Denny has the video of it somewhere, and maybe Jay D'Amato has it. But that was my brief experience with Daniel Duby. I do have his straight blast videos, but all of my boxe française training was at the hands and feet, literally, of Salem Asli. Okay, so Rick's working on it. Let's see. Mick. Okay. All right, Bob, thanks for that. I'm going to have to shut this down then, guys, and start all over again. Sorry about that. Okay, wait, he's here. All right. If this attempt to add him in doesn't work, then I'll shut it down, set it all back up again, and then you guys just come back and see us. But I think I hear him.
Hey, Dwight, I'm here. How are you? I'm really
man?
sorry. I apologize.
That's okay. That's okay. You are definitely worth the wait. No worries.
I don't know about that. Let's see. It's really nice to talk to you again. It's been a long time, and I think it was 1993 in New York was the last time I saw you with Neil Collis.
Oh my God!
In Queens. That was the last time I saw you. So time flies.
I know. I was trying to remember when it was, but I gotta say, man, you really get around.
Thank you. It's because nobody will have me in one place. Nobody really wants me, so I get shuffled around. So yeah. Right. I try my best. Yeah, I try and get around.
Well, listen. Yeah. Okay, so listen, right? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you're gonna have to talk about yourself for the next few minutes. I noticed that you are much more comfortable talking with Mick Tully about the glorious Dan Inosanto.
Of course, yeah.
You're extremely comfortable talking with Eric Paulson about the difference between judo attacks and jiu-jitsu attacks.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That doesn't happen on my show, son. On my show.
Okay.
On my show, you got to talk about yourself.
Okay. I'll try.
Okay. So first things first. I got backup material. What is the body fat percentage here?
Well, you know, that's funny because that photo was taken, I think it was 95 at Bob Breen's Academy. And that was the week before I went to Japan to train. and I went to Japan for
Let me
the
make
first
sure
time.
everybody can see this damn picture. Look at that.
And you know, and so I was going to Japan, so I was training pretty hard then. I was training pretty hard, and went out to Japan. And actually, I think when I went out there, I lost about another 10 pounds. So it was really weird.
Holy
and then
crap.
I got and then I got I was too light, and I got my ribs broke when I was out there, because it was 3.5 hour sessions out there, really, really tough sessions. I mean, it was incredibly tough sessions. As it, you know, I was quite light when I went out, and then when I got out, I was losing even more weight because I couldn't eat after the sessions. It was really difficult to eat because, you know, you were so stressed and your body was stressed, different time zone, and yeah, it just really broke me down, you know. So I should have actually gone out there heavier. I should have gone out there, you know. Now when I think about it, I should have gone out there heavy. I didn't lost the weight when I was out there, but anyway, it was a fantastic trip. But thanks for putting that up. That was a long time ago.
Okay, so I'm looking at the muscular development and what have you. Is Steve Powell connected to your muscular development some way?
To be honest, not really. I know Steve very well. Steve's a great guy. I love Steve very much, and
every time that I look up stuff for you, Steve Powell shows up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, well, Steve actually he's my senior in martial arts, because Steve's been doing martial arts since the 60s. I mean, he's a fantastic, a real icon in Britain in martial arts. So he's fantastic. And then I think it was 1990, I started doing seminars for Steve. And he had already done some Eskrima and a little bit of JKD, but I kind of helped him a little bit with that. But he was already a fantastic martial artist, so he was really great. And then Rick Fay, Sifu Rick, did a lot of seminars for him. Sifu Larry Hartzell did seminars for him in Manchester. So he did that. So yeah, there is a connection there, and I've got a lot of respect for Steve. He's a really good man. I really like him, and he's a great martial artist.
So listen, if I don't ask you to adjust your camera a little bit, because we got a lot of headroom above you.
Okay.
Bob Burgee is going to be very upset with me.
Okay, how's this? If I come a little bit forward, is that okay? Or I'll tell you what actually happened. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I thought we were on an 8, so I've just come home and I went, oh my word, you know, I can't believe. So my times were totally out. No, it's not your fault. It's my fault. And I should have checked. So my times were out, and I was rushing around. And I thought, oh, man, I can't believe that I've messed up. Like, you know, shocking, you know, absolutely shocking, you know. But here we are, you know.
That's okay. All right.
So how are you keeping? How are you? How's life?
Oh, me, I'm good. But this you are the best part of my day so far.
Okay.
Okay. So now look at this.
Okay. Cool.
Right. I saw this, and immediately I thought of this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, it's hard to distinguish. Your left leg looks just like Bill Wallace's left leg.
If only it was as fast. That'd be good.
So,
if only.
Yeah, so this is from January of 2000. Do you still have that flexibility?
To be honest, I do. Yeah, right now I do. Yeah.
I figured you would.
Because right now, actually, I'm having to do a lot more yoga, because in 3 weeks I'm going to be going to basecamp Everest. You know, so
I heard.
So I'm doing a lot of hill walking. You know, doing the mountains thing. And I found that I've really tightening up my glutes, tightening up my back. So I started to do like half an hour yoga a day, something like that, just to kind of offset the limitations. But take me about 15, 20 minutes, I'll be able to do that. Yeah. So I've been really blessed, I think. You know, I've been fortunate, because when I was young, I did a lot of stretching, an awful lot of stretching, and incorrect stretching, but I was young, so it still worked. And so I've been kind of gifted that through up till now. I'm 56 now, so up till this age, you know. So I've been really blessed, and I find that if I just focus on it for a little while, it'll come back. And it's one thing that Guru Dan said to me, because I asked him maybe 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago now, we were talking, and I said to him, What do you have any regrets, or do you have anything that you would do differently now than you
Hmm.
did, you know, from the past, that you, if you could go back? And he said, number one, keep your legs strong. He said,
Yeah.
make sure your legs are strong. He said, number two, work on your flexibility. You don't want to lose your flexibility. So those two things, it was like a conversation we had in a coffee shop in LA. And I
Hmm.
thought, wow, that's so pivotal, you know. And, you know, I found sometimes on my trips to LA that, you know, of course, training at the academy is incredible. I mean, it's a privilege to train there and to meet the guys. And obviously with Guru, he's different level. But sometimes, you know, you'll be sitting outside and he'll say something. I'm sure he's done that with you. And he'll say something, you go, that makes so much sense, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll
Yeah.
take away from that trip. So people go, well, what did you learn? And I'll go, well, actually, it was, you know, just something really, um, you know, something really, you know, I remember one time we were upstairs at the academy and he was giving me a 2 hour private on SEALA in Cali. And, you know, it was one of those off the cuff things, you know, he would just start teaching me stuff and, you know, it was really, really great that he was doing that. And I thought, I'm missing something here. And I realized that my stance was too wide. And that was the thing I took away from that private. And once I shortened my stance,
Hmm.
everything started to flow better, you know. So, and
Right.
he taught a lot of techniques. I mean, as you know, Guru was teaching amazing amount of techniques. But
Yeah.
it was amazing just that you take away that small thing, you know. So that was one of the things, getting back to the original question, yeah, about the flexibility issue. Whenever I'm feeling tight, I think of what Guru said, you know, keep yourself flexible, keep moving, you know,
Exactly.
and you know, and keep that. And obviously, Guru is a perfect example of that. I mean, an incredible
Yeah.
example of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're not fooling anyone. Everybody saw what you just did. You tried to deflect the conversation back to Inosanto. All right. You're trying.
Okay. Yeah.
You're trying to sabotage me.
That's funny. That's funny.
Right. Okay. So here's the chronology I have for you.
Okay.
Um, you started martial arts study in 1975.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Were you fighting before that?
In terms, you know, nothing really major, you know, maybe school, you know, you'd have fights at school with kids. But, you know, when we're talking about a fight, you know, a fight for me is extreme violence, you know, a skirmish in the school where you're, you know, somebody's kicked you a little bit or something. That's not really a fight, you know. And a lot of people say, oh, well, I had fights at school. It's not really major, you know, for me. So I had little bits, you know. Mostly
Hmm.
before I did martial arts, I was playing football, you know. So
Okay.
soccer, yeah. And so I was playing
No,
soccer.
it's okay to call it football when you're talking to me. I know what
Okay.
you're talking about. I'm not that much of an American, all right?
Okay, gotcha. Okay, okay. So I was playing football, and you know, I really enjoyed playing football, and that was great. So I had a couple of skirmishes and stuff, but really I nothing major, you know. And I just enjoyed playing for the team, and then, you know, eventually leading up to going into martial arts, I think like most of us, you know, we saw, you know, Bruce and Enter the Dragon. I remember seeing the posters for Enter the
Hmm.
Dragon.
Hmm.
And just thinking, wow, you know, this looks just like it was like almost another world. You know, I don't think
Yeah.
people now can comprehend how extraordinary that was, how different that was at that time.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I think, and I remember the first book I saw was the Bruce Tegner book, you know, and the first technique I ever learned was how to shake someone's hand, put your hand around your own hand, and then wrist lock them, you know.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was, I'm going to deflect again now, but it's an interesting story because I was talking to Guru one time. He'd just come into Edinburgh for a seminar about 8 or 9 years ago, and
Mm.
so we were talking, you know, and I mentioned that story. I said about Bruce Tegner. I said that was the first book, and he said, Rick, you know, I'm a black belt under Bruce Tegner, and I
Yeah.
said, you're joking. I said, no way. I
Right.
said, that can't be true. He goes, no. He goes, I trained with Bruce Tegner and Ed Parker
Yeah.
simultaneously and did Shotokan karate at the same time. And I
Yep.
was like, wow. So it was such a shock to me at that time. And I went, and I thought, you don't have to do a seminar now. You can leave. Because that just blew my mind
Right.
that
Yeah.
he would actually be a black belt under Bruce Tegner. You know,
Yeah.
it just blew my mind how incredible that was. So yeah,
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because if I was as flexible as you are, I would pick both my knees up and I would show you. I have these. It's a thing called Osgood disease. Do you know what that is?
no, I don't know. No, I don't know what that is.
Okay,
No.
when you play too much football, right, as a kid, and you do too much kicking, there's actually bone malformations
Uh-huh.
that can happen in your knees.
Right.
So I had to take time off from football, and that's how I got deeper and deeper into martial art. And amongst my first martial art books growing up in Barbados was Bruce Tegner's books on karate.
Wow, that's amazing. That's not incredible. Isn't it incredible how much influence he had? Because he was bringing out the first cross training books, where
Mm-hmm.
well, some of the first, in
Mm-hmm.
Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu and karate and so
Oh, for
forth.
sure. For
Incredible.
sure.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
incredible, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have met him.
When I was talking to Bay Logan a couple of weeks ago, he told me that in the United Kingdom, all of the kung fu films, including the Bruce Lee stuff, that they were really severely censored.
Yeah.
Right? That they took like all the weapons stuff out and a whole bunch of things. But
Yeah.
was it Bruce Lee that brought you to Jeet Kune Do?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I think like most of us, our generation, was something that when you saw him, I mean, it was just so incredible. And I remember when I saw it, just thinking, this is really what I want to do. So I kind of left soccer. I was actually at that time, a couple of teams were interested in signing me up professionally,
Mm-hmm.
as a
Wow.
youngster, or as a youngster, they were going to sign me up and potentially be professional. They do that with a lot of kids, so it doesn't mean
Yeah.
that you are going to be, you are going to be taken up. But the thing is that I switched. I said, no, I want to do martial arts. So I met my friend, you probably read Sean Shanley,
Mm-hmm.
we taught me. He was doing judo at the time, he was doing karate, and he was doing boxing, so he was really
Mm-hmm.
cross training back then. So he showed me some stuff, and Sean, to this day, is probably in the top 3 martial artists I've ever met.
Yeah.
He passed away about 6 months ago, unfortunately, but he's an amazing martial artist, an amazing teacher for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, so he was teaching me, and obviously we were going to see the all-night Bruce Lee movies, all the movies in one go, and doing the whole thing, and yeah, and then obviously I read about Guru Dan and this
Yes.
man Dan Inosanto. So
Yeah.
actually, the first time I met Guru Dan, it was really interesting because it was at the Bruce Lee convention in London in '79, and the first
Right.
time I shook his hand, he was being strangled by Bruce Lee on screen in the Game of Death. So I saw him come up, and Game of Death was on the screen, and it was at the scene where he was fighting Bruce,
Yeah.
and I thought I got to go and shake his hand. I was like 17-year-old kid, so 16, 17. So
What is it with you Britishers and 17 years of age in Inosanto? Chris Kent was 17 when he went.
Oh really? Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that true? Yeah, there you go. There you go. I don't know what it is, but I went up to him and I said, Mr. Inosanto, I just want to shake your hand, please. And just as I did that, he said, look, and Bruce was just putting the nunchucks behind him and strangling him. And I thought, what an introduction to the man. I'm actually beside my hero, getting strangled by his hero and my hero on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
So it was really crazy. And and then when I met Guru Dan, of course, the Bruce Lee connection was first. Love Bruce Lee, and idolized him, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, decided that I want to go and train with Guru Dan because, he would be at that time, be the next best thing to training with
Right.
Bruce, So
Yeah. So 75 was the demonstration, and that's when you introduce yourself to him.
Oh, I'm sorry. 75. I got introduced by Sean Shanley to martial arts. I trained for
Okay.
about
No,
a
I'm
year.
sorry.
A
Yeah,
year.
I'm messing you up. Right. Yeah.
Excuse me.
79 was
Yeah.
Inosanto.
Yes.
And then the second time was at a seminar in Birmingham.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was in Birmingham, and
Okay.
that just blew my mind. He was with Jeff Amada, and yeah, that was just something else. And
Yeah.
and it was really unbelievable, but also, I mean, I'm sure you've been through this yourself, where it's incredible to watch, but it's extremely frustrating because you think, how am I ever going to go from A to anywhere, not even that level, but anywhere near that level? How am I going to get myself from here to there? And that was a
Yeah.
huge sense of like, it was inspirational, but also frustrating at the time, you know. And you know,
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
going the first time I went to the States was '84, and you know, I trained for I think almost 7 weeks, you know, and we trained in almost every class we could. We trained in Guru Dan's classes, trained in Chris Kent's classes, Cas Magda's classes, you know, Gracilia Casalassi's classes, you know, so anybody's classes you
Yeah.
could find. And then I came back a year later and realized I was doing a lot of the stuff wrong, you know, and I was crying. I was actually had tears in my eyes in the hotel room because we didn't have video. Obviously, there was no internet, anything like
Right.
that. Didn't have
Yeah.
DVDs.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm really trying my best at this. I'm really giving it everything that I can. I'm trying my best and I'm still messing it up, you know. And then the guys at the academy, we were fortunate enough to be there every week. You know, if they made a mistake, Guru would say, well, maybe you're doing your pack cell wrong, or you're doing your lap cell wrong, or doing whatever, you know, wrong.
Yeah.
So I was so, you know, frustrated at that time. You know, it's very frustrating because I thought I really want this, and I want it to be, you know, I want to be the best that I can be in front of Guru Dan, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, and that was always my aim, you know, just to be the best that I could be in front of him, and hopefully he would then see me as a student, you know, at some point, you know, which he did later on. But yeah, but Bruce Lee obviously was pivotal. He was, I mean,
So
huge, huge.
7 weeks in LA in
Yeah,
1984.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have your notes from that time?
You know, I started to put the notes there, right? Actually, the notes, I had a fire in my room one time when I went to another trip, but I do have the tapes because what happened is I'm a terrible note taker. I'm really bad. You know, I write it down, I look at it, I don't understand it, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I got was I got like a little, maybe a Walkman at the time, and I started to dictate into the Walkman each class. And I still have
Right.
the tapes from there. Yeah, I still have the tapes from that. Yeah. And
Excellent.
those were very helpful when I came back. But you know, it's difficult if you go, you know, you're dictating something, and then 6 months later you're listening to it, and you're not really understanding it. You know, so it was difficult, but I think also it was really good for me because, as Bruce said, you know, for personal growth, research, you know, your own
Right.
experience, and I
Yeah.
really had to research a lot. You know, and
Yeah.
you know, later on when I met Bob Breen, Terry Barnett, they really helped me immensely, you know, because they were sharing a lot of what they had learned and teaching me. And so that was great. So that really helped because it was over, you know, this side of the pond. And then when I went to LA, start to kind of ask more questions and more specific questions about, you know, things as I became more educated. I felt I didn't have to just go in. I'd taken the class, was fantastic, but I then had a bunch of questions when I went over, about 100 questions, and say, what
Yeah.
about this, and this, you know? So
Yeah.
that really helped too, and people were really helping me out with the academy. So that was
Yeah.
cool, really good, yeah.
So I realized then that the stuff that you did with Sean Shanley, you
Yeah,
were mixed martial arts before mixed martial arts was mixed martial arts.
yeah. I really believe that, and I think, you know, when you look back, you know, to way back to the Greeks, you know, and you know, anybody that's done a lot of fighting, most people were having to go weapon in empty hand. You know, even the old
Yeah.
English boxers, James Figg. You know, you look and you go, he was teaching this the stick. He was teaching empty hand. He was teaching a little bit of grappling. You know, so I think if you're in a combative mode, then sooner or later, hopefully sooner, but you're going to understand that actually I have to be well developed in a lot of different areas here, at
Yeah.
least 3 areas, if not 4.
Yeah.
So you have to be well developed there. So with Sean, because Sean was training with these judo players, we were really high level judo players at the time. I mean, incredible judo players. And Hamish Adam, who was a very high level karateka and doing boxing, and he had a lot of fights. He did have a lot of fights in the street. So he realized I need this, you know. So he would be, I watched him knock a guy out with a throw, you know, land up in the air, drop on him, and knock him clean out in the street. And that's
Wow.
why later on, when I heard, well before the UFC started, people said, oh, judo's a sport. I'm thinking, wow, you know, judo's, if you get thrown, even if you know how to land and somebody lands on you, you're going to get knocked clean out. You know, you're going to have a, or you're going to be like, you're going to have your ribs broken. So I knew how devastating it could be. I never had that skill to apply it like that, like Sean, but he really showed me in real world, you know, experience how devastating that could be. I mean, technically, you would look at some of the things we did and say, okay, technically it was way behind what we have now, but certainly the seed was there. The idea was there about being an all-round martial artist. We can work in any range for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When you the seminar in Birmingham with Sifu Inosanto, do you remember if he focused at that time, was he doing more Kali than Jun Fan or an equal amount or what? Do you remember?
I actually, he must have done some JKD, but I never, I can't remember him doing that. I remember him doing a lot of Kali, yeah. And
so did that concern you?
No, because
I'll
the
tell you where I'm
Kali.
going with this.
Okay.
Right? But did that concern you?
It didn't. I tell you why it didn't, Dwight, because the Kali, and at that time, I think he must have been 43, right? That was 1980, 43, maybe turned 44. But he was on fire, and
he would have been 47. Yeah.
We were 47. Okay. So he was on fire. I mean, he was like,
that's the
really
same phrase that Cass Magda uses.
Oh, really?
On fire.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And when I mean, he could have been reading the phone book, and it would have been great. You know, it wouldn't matter what he was doing. But his Kali at that time, I saw a little bit of a video from a Super 8 film, and he just had that animal look about him. You know, I mean, obviously, the greatest person, super nice person.
Yes.
But you could see that he was training incredibly hard. He was ripped. He was, you know, his forearms were so you know, developed, his triceps, and you could, and I remember that about him more than anything. You know, remember that experience, and of course when he was showing the weaponry, showing the empty hand, and he was with Jeff Amada, so he was giving great demos, incredible demos, and for a kid like me, I just went, wow, well, what more can I ask for here? You know,
exactly.
What more can I ask for? This is my dream.
Yeah, we were on the same page then, because my thing was, it's Dan Inosanto. I don't care what he's teaching.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Dan Inosanto. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and he was so much better than I envisaged him to be. Even though I'd seen him the year before, I'd seen him give a demo, which was incredibly impressive. But to see him do what was supposed to be a 3-hour seminar, and then he went to 3.5 or 4 hours. And I remember him saying, do you mind if I go into overtime? And everyone's going, yeah, come on, this is fantastic, you know. And it's incredible. So he was, yeah. Oh, sorry, Dwight, I just pulled you over there. So he was just really, yeah, just, I mean, I try to explain to people now that a lot of people who see Guru Dan now, and he's obviously still off the chart, you know, and he's in his 80s now. But when you see him now, they might have seen him on YouTube, they might have seen DVDs of him, so they're kind of prepped to what he's like as a person. They've seen stories or heard things, you know, so they're prepped about him. But I think that to see him then without really that much preparation, it just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. It was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to ask you 2 questions that were submitted to me. Terry Baller.
Yeah, Terry. I know Terry. Yeah. Hi, Terry.
Okay. So Terry wanted to know what techniques or methods did you find most commonly used in the chaos of fighting on the nightclub doors?
I think the headbutt. The headbutt would be number one. The headbutt would be the first one, and probably just a white right.
Did you fall into headbutting because of your time with Paul Vunak?
No, I was headbutt well before Paul. Yeah, but not well before Paul, but well before I met Paul. Yeah, and yeah, I was headbutting a lot before. It seems to be instilled in Scottish people to headbutt for some reason. You know? I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I don't really understand why,
Yeah.
but it seems to be like any part of our nature, you know. And you know, it's pure JKD. I mean, the headbutt. If you're close to someone and it's the closest thing to them, you know, you
Right.
go in and you headbutt. Um, but yeah, I'd say the headbutt and the wide right are the two things I saw, you know,
Hmm.
that I think were probably the biggest things that came out from the untrained guys when they came in. And then when it came to weaponry, you know, twice I had guys try to stab me, you know, so, and then twice I had a guy trying to once I had a guy put a broken bottle in my face, or try to, and, you know, because people talk about the Cali, because we're talking about the Cali again, about how effective it is, and for me, it's probably saved my life. I told
Yeah.
Guru that, I said, because
Hmm.
I stripped both knives, and I stripped the bottle, the broken bottle.
Yeah.
And I really feel like Cali saved me, because a lot of people go, well, it doesn't work, and this, I go, and I can't say it'll work for anybody else. I can't say that. But what I can say is for me, and I told Guru this, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, we were having breakfast, and I thanked him, and he thought I was kidding. I said, no, Guru, I said, seriously, this
Hmm.
potentially saved my life, you know,
Yeah.
because I got this, you know, I stripped this. So for the nightclubs, I would say headbutt would be number one. Number two would be the wide right. In terms of me dealing with weapons or anything, it would be more the I would be, you know, I took the two knives of guys, and I took a broken bottle of someone, and that worked for me, you know.
Yeah.
But there are some things, you know, that you think are going to, for me personally, when I worked the doors, I would try and control. Obviously, I didn't want to hit. And if things escalated, I usually used a Muay Thai round kick, which usually floored people. Yeah, to be honest.
Hmm.
And I like the Muay Thai round kick and the teep,
Hmm.
because if they came any closer to me and I teeped them, usually they've had a drink. So if you teep them hard enough, they're not, you know, it's not like when we train or you're training with athletes, you know, they're prepared. They're not
Yeah.
prepared for that. So I haven't damaged them too much, but I've dropped them. If I do a
Right.
Muay Thai kick, I've dropped them, but I haven't really put any lasting damage on them, you know. So I really like those techniques for that. So if I
Yeah.
punch somebody in the face, I think I went 3 or 4 years in the door. I never punched anybody in the face once.
I was going to ask you how long you spent
No.
on the door. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent the first time I went on the door, I was 17. So I was actually working
Whoa.
illegally. Yeah, I was illegal on the door, actually telling people that they didn't look 18. So it was a really stupid situation. But I needed the money, and I had a friend who got me the job.
Yeah.
So I worked for, I think, 2.5 to 3 years there. And
What other
then
jobs have you had?
job. I worked as a postman. I worked on a building site. Those were my two main jobs: delivering furniture, just kind of manual jobs like that I did in the
Hmm.
beginning. I didn't really want to further my education, because I thought that would take away from training, you know. And so I just kept every
Yeah.
job I had. Like when I
You're
was a
one of those
mailman,
guys, huh?
yeah, when I was a mailman, it was a great job for me, because I could train in the afternoon, you know, with the
Right.
judo team. I could
Yeah.
train at night, you know, and it was a kind of like a shorter span of time I was working, you know. When I worked on the building sites, it was good for me. It was kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, because the first time I went to America, I came to the LA, I had to
Hmm.
save up for it. So at some points I was doing 18-hour shifts on the building sites. I was sleeping on the building site, and then doing another shift, maybe a 12-hour shift, going home,
Right. Yeah.
coming back, doing a 12
Yeah.
or 18-hour shift, you know. So all of that was focused on me being able to train, you know. So that's kind of the way that I kind of tried to work it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I forget who it was, but somebody wanted to know your UK seminar dates for 2019.
I don't really do seminars now, Dwight, to be honest with you. I do very few.
Ah.
No big deal to anybody really, but I did. I was doing a lot of seminars for about 20 odd years.
Hmm.
I remember in 2000 and 2001, I think I did 54 or 56 seminars each year, and I was
Hmm.
working. You know, I was working, so that was really really tough. You know, now, to be honest, I try and focus on my school.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy at my school. You know, I'm really happy. I've just come from there. Everybody's really cool. You know, I go in there, I know everybody. You know, we've got a good number of people coming to the school. I love that. I love the atmosphere there, and I make enough money that I don't have to do the seminars right now. I don't do private lessons. You know, now very rarely do privates. So I'm in a very, very good position where I think I'm doing one May the 5th for the Bob Sykes had asked me to do on in Huddersfield, I think it is. You know, I'm going to do one
Okay.
there, but it's only for an hour and a half, and it's something Bob asked me to do, so I'll do that. But to be honest, I just like training and, you know, and staying at my school and hanging out at my school. So it's really cool there. Yeah. And just, you know, when people come in, you know, you've done lots of seminars. When you go in, it's great because you travel and you meet people. But, you know, when you go to your own school, there's nothing like it. When you see people you know, and, you know, you have a nice Monday night and you're training, you're teaching. So it's really cool. So, yeah. So I'm not doing too many. Yeah, not doing too many.
Speaking of Bob's, Burgie wants to know when you started competition. Was it judo first, and what year was that?
Competition. I did a little bit of karate competition. Very little bit of karate competition when I was about 13 or 14. And then what did I do after that? I'm trying to think. So did a little bit of that, and then I went to box. I had 11 fights in boxing. I boxed twice for Scotland, and then I got to the stage where I was 26, and I thought, you know, I don't think I'm going to take this any further. I was sparring pros, you know, three pros, you know, good European level boxers, very good boxers. And I was getting headaches at night. I was puking up during the night. I mean, I'd go and train,
Oh God,
and then I'd wake up at 2 a.m, puking up, and then I'd be getting up at 4:15 to go and work as a postman. And then going back training again, and then, you know, I wasn't puking up every session, but I was getting really major headaches. And I thought, you know, after about a year, 2 years, I thought, you know what, this isn't good for my health. It took me that long to work it out. Because, you know, you're prepared to take a beating in order to get better sometimes. And it was a great experience, but that was that. So I was proud. I fought for my country a couple of times, so I was proud of that, and had a good experience of going in the ring. And then obviously, you know, when you go to judo, I fought for all my judo belts there. So you had 16 fights between white and black. I won every fight that I had. So going to get my black, you know. So and then when the jiu-jitsu tournament started in Britain, I think the first one was in '99. So the first British tournament. So that was kind of like a rag bag of people getting together, some from wrestling, some from judo, some from, you know, wherever, you know, Japanese jiu-jitsu. So they were, you know, and then I fought in that, and then I fought in the European jiu-jitsu, and then fought in Brazil for the first time in 2003 as a purple belt, and then I fought as a brown and a black in Brazil, and then fought in the Worlds and the Pan Ams, mostly in LA.
So it was inevitable that you would get into jiu-jitsu competition then, huh?
I think, you know, because I had to kind of test where I was at, because, you know, and you find that, you know, when, not so much now, but before, it was like, it's like the old Japanese thing. Japanese people think, okay, only the Japanese can do karate or can do judo, you know, and we're the best at it. And there was a tinge of that from the Brazilians, where you'll never beat a Brazilian. So I wanted to go there. I remember the first time I arm-locked a black belt. I was a blue belt. I unlocked a black belt, and I thought, this is possible now. And I don't say that to be big-headed. I just mean, for me, at that time, I felt like I was out on my own, and I thought, you know what, I can do this. It's possible where I can get in here, and I can become. It's the same in the JKD Cali world, where I always felt kind of almost second best behind everybody in LA because I wasn't there all the time, you know, and I kind of had a little bit of an inferior complex but that made me train harder, you know. That made me go, okay, I need to get this. And I'll never be Guru's best student, but I will be as loyal as anybody, and I'll try and make him proud and do the best that I can do, you know. And with the jiu-jitsu, it was kind of the same, because I think I was one of the first British people to go down to Brazil and compete. I think I was the first one to compete in Brazil, and as a purple belt. And then when I won at purple belt, I went, you know what? This is possible for me to get good at this. You know, I can actually get good at this. And then I had met Mauricio Gomez, who's my jiu-jitsu instructor now. And Mauricio really had a lot of belief in me and was very instrumental in my development in jiu-jitsu, and that
Hmm.
was great, that was really great. It's the same when I went to Japan for judo. I just want to go there to see how it felt and to taste it and to taste how judo felt in Japan and to go in. And I think I was 33 when I went there to go in to Tokai University, over
Yeah.
200 black belts on the mat,
Yeah.
3.5 hour session. Can I handle this? Am
Yeah.
I able to actually be in this arena and be able to stay with these people, and it was just a great experience, and I think
Okay.
throughout this, it's been the same.
Okay. I got to tell you what just happened there. So there are 70 people on here live with us. This is
Okay.
episode number 54. So I've been doing this for about a year.
Okay.
Now it's 72 people. I have never had this many people live with
Oh, that's
me
nice.
dialoguing with somebody. But I
That's
just
nice. Thank
realized
you.
why it is. You, sir. See, I kept wondering why I announced that I'm going to be dialoguing with Rick Young. I start getting friend requests from all over the place because people want to come on here with me. But
Thank
I
you.
see what it is. You took your experience and you turned it around and made yourself into one hell of a person and an instructor. That's what you did.
No, I don't know about that, but thank you.
That's
Yeah.
what you did.
That's you're just trying to do your best. I think, you try and all I've ever wanted to do is fulfill my potential. And I've never done that, to be honest with you. I've never done that. But I want to fulfill my potential as a martial artist and
Yeah.
as and you just said as a human being.
Yeah.
And we all fall short of the glory, but we at least you're trying. And last year I had a lot of people, friends die. You had three really good people that I knew die, and it teaches you, that you go. But I've got to really embrace this now. And I've
Yeah.
tried to do that. And as I say, I mean, like you, I'm sure, Dwight. You've had ups and downs, and you've had good times, bad times, but you're trying your best, and I think
Yeah.
that's all you can do. I say that to my sons. I say, just try your best,
Right.
try your best, and you might fall short, but keep going, and listen to people. And we've been so privileged, as you and I both, individually, and as a generation in JKD and Cali, in the
Yeah.
last 40 years, to have Guru Dan as our head, because you're looking at him and going, that's somebody who's just on such a different level that if I can even aspire to be that good, aspire to be as anywhere near that, then is such a great privilege to be with him.
Hmm.
And I'll never be anywhere near that level. I don't want to be better than Dan Inosanto. I'm just inspired by him, inspired by you've been around him, I've been around him. I mean, I worked out a couple of years ago, I think, that I've been in with him in over 200 private lessons of his, where he's been in LA and I've been in LA, and
And you've
he's
been in,
taken me
yeah.
around
Yeah.
over 200. And each time he's had a private, we've spoke about it afterwards and said, well, I said, well, girl, what did you get from that? What did you get from? And every time it lights me up, I go, man, I
Hmm.
can't believe that, I'm
Hmm.
here with him, the
Hmm.
greatest martial artist, and to be able to do that. So it's just really inspirational, to have that, to be able to be, a part of that for a kid from Leith, from Edinburgh, to be with Dan Inosanto in LA. I
Yeah.
mean, my words, it's just like
Yeah.
it's just incredible, just
Hey,
incredible.
let's talk about somebody else for a second. Terry Barnett wants me to ask you who your most handsome friend is.
It's certainly not Terry Barnett. It's certainly
Right.
not Terry, for sure.
Okay. And all right.
That's
But
funny.
and keep this in mind. George Johnston at Hybrid Fight Academy. He wants to know if
Glasgow.
you
Hi,
if you
George.
if you if you do a seminar over there with them.
You
So
sure? If you want to, yeah, I'll
yeah.
do something.
So
Yeah,
you
love
get
to do
you
it. Yeah,
guys.
we'll take a class.
You
Yeah,
yeah. You
for
guys.
sure.
Okay. Um, so but this is the other thing. See, I got so many people on here firing their own questions at me. I don't even get to go through my list of questions.
That's funny.
Right.
That's funny.
So okay, so 95 is when you were promoted to full instructor and everything was backdated to 93,
3. Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah.
And you were the first person outside of the USA to be made a full instructor.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right? Okay. So break down for me, when did you start teaching? When were you given permission to start teaching? Do you remember?
To teach under Guru Dan, to teach
Yeah.
under him. I think I got my apprenticeship in '87 from him to teach. But Sifu Hartzell had already been to Edinburgh and had given me permission to teach. And also Bob Breen had said I could teach what he was teaching at the time and go under his banner if I want to do that. So
yeah.
But prior to that, basically what happened is I not even opened a gym because we never charged any money. So I just kind of had a few friends and I said, let's get together and train. And the idea was always, at that time was that we get one person from each a different art. So one Aikido guy, one Jiu-Jitsu, Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wasn't around then. So one Judo guy, one wrestler, you know, whatever, from different arts, one boxer. So that then what we would do is we would exchange. So that was really the idea behind the beginning of, you know, what became my academy, you know. But it just so happened that that I seemed to have most of the knowledge at that time. So people were asking me more. So it kind of turned it almost organically into that. Because I'm definitely not a natural teacher. I'm actually quite shy, you know. So it wasn't natural for me to become a teacher. And when I started to teach a little bit, Sean Shanley came back. He had been in England at college. And when he came back, I just gave the class to him. And I said, you take the class. But when he was taking it, he was training people the way he trained me, which was beginning the class with 100 press-ups, you know, throwing people on wooden floors, you know, tearing, gouging. So nobody was turning up, you know. So then I kind of went back to it and was come to the States to try and get the knowledge, come back and share it and go back. And for a long time, we never charged any money, you know. So that was kind of how it started. And then, Sifu Hartzell, who had met in '84, he came over, I think, '86. Actually, Terry Burnett had Sifu Hartzell over in '85, I think. Terry Burnett had him for his first seminar here. So he had said you should teach and go on the program. So Guru Dan, I met him in London in '87, and he said, Richard, you called me Richard at the time. He said, Richard, I'd like you to go on the program. So that's when I really started teaching more the JKD, the Kali, you know, where I could teach it officially and kind of say, actually, I'm under Guru Dan Inosanto, I'm under Sifu Larry Hartzell, you know. That's when I started it, yeah.
Okay. And
it was I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, so you're also certified to teach through VUNAC, right?
Yes, Paul. Yeah.
Okay. When did that come about? I'm gonna strain your brain for memory of dates and what have you.
June '91. June '91.
Okay.
I had VUNAC. I had Paul over here in June '91. I'd seen Paul at the academy in '84, and Paul really impressed me, you know. He really reminded me of Sean, actually. So we got him over for a seminar in '91, and then literally a week after he'd been here, I got a certificate through the post, and it was a full instructor certificate. And he wrote me a very nice letter, and he said, I think we're bonded. So, I mean, Paul, you know, a lot of people have said things about Paul over the years, and he's had his problems. But Paul was always really nice to me. He was super cool to me. He's always been really, you know.
He's influential as heck, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't care. You know, I don't care what anybody's got. There's a lot of JKD that would not have been if it wasn't for Paul VUNAC.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You know? He helped me so much, and he was so great, and. You know, he was just fantastic. Yeah, I mean, as was Rick Fay for me. I mean, Rick Fay.
I was gonna move on to him next.
Yeah, and Rick, he really helped me so much. I mean, I met Rick because Rick had come over to the UK with Sifu Hartzell, March '87. Yes. So Rick gave me a couple of privates. They would charge me, and he was incredibly influential. And of course, Rick's an amazingly talented instructor.
You know what I hate about him? He always looks well practiced.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Always. You
for
know?
sure.
Yeah, I
For
can't
sure.
stand him.
Yeah.
I can't stand him.
Me neither. Yeah, yeah. I'm really jealous of him. Yeah, he's but I mean, he's just amazing, you know. And he really. I mean, I haven't seen Rick in a while. I seen him a couple of years ago just to say hi, but I haven't seen him in a while to train with. But he had such a huge influence on me, and I went to the Cali group about 98, 97, something like that, to train with him there. And he really helped me massively, yeah. So he helped me in the training methodology, understanding the art, you know, understanding how to teach.
Right.
And, you know, he really, really helped me massively, yeah. So
Yeah.
big shout out to Rick for that. Yeah, he was
Okay.
fantastic. And Vu was in a different way. Vu was more, you know, Paul was more, you know, just electric, you know what he's like, you know, he's electric and you're around him and he's got that kind of different energy, you know. So he was good in a different way from Rick, you know, but extremely nice to me, really nice. Stayed at his house for 3 weeks and he took me across the States for seminars and he was really good, yeah. Can't thank him enough.
Okay, let's do one more. Eric Paulson. Let me tell you about him first. If he just touches me, I get scared.
Yeah.
You know, right? But let's talk Eric Paulson.
Well, Eric, you know, I met Eric in July '89 in the North Carolina camp. So I met him there and we just clicked right away. He was just really great to me. He was super nice. So I met him there and then I flew to LA, I think the week after the camp or just after the camp. And then we met, and I remember us going down Manhattan Beach and he had some fold-out mats. So we were on the beach with the mats. And at that time, we were kind of exchanging a little bit. And then I went back a year later and he had jumped quite a bit, but I could still kind of hang on to his coattail, you know, I could kind of hang on to him.
Yeah.
And then I saw him a year later and he had just gone into a different stratosphere. And I thought, man, I'm not anywhere near this guy's caliber. This guy's on a different level. So he really, he's number one, as you know, he's an amazing human being. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. Great person, patient, kind, and he's so nice to me, and he's just really cool as a practitioner. I mean, when I roll with Eric, you know, I mean, I can't do anything. I can't do anything with him. I mean, people think I'm joking, but I go, actually, I cannot do anything with him. I said, that's why Tanya always says, you guys are always laughing. I said, I have to laugh because I can't do anything, you know? We just laugh. He's putting wrist locks on me or he's doing something to me that I've never seen, and he's amazing. And as a teacher, he's just on an incredible level. I mean, when I saw him back in, I think it must have been August, back in August in the camp, I really did think that he's like Guru. You know, he's on that level where he has such a photographic memory. He has so many things in his head. He's got so many permutations. I'm thinking, my word, where are you getting this from? This is just really, really incredible level. So, and as I say, when you combine that incredible level of teaching, his competition record speaks for itself. What he's done, one of the first to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in America, really, you know, with Hoyce and with Hori and with Hickson.
Yeah.
You know, totally different level. I mean, amazing man, and he's just such a great person, just the most unique and kind person I've met. Person. And I can't thank him enough, you know. Privileged to be a student, yeah, really.
Yeah. Let's talk about the school for a second. On the website, the banner that you have for the arts at the school, everything is the JKD and the Kali and the Silat and the Muay Thai are encased at the two ends by Gracie Baja and CSW. Is there a specific reasoning for that?
To be honest, not really. You know, it's probably just the way it's happened. It's just, you know, you don't want to offend people, because if you put somebody in the middle, or somebody will say, oh, well, you never put me in the middle or whatever. No, somebody did that for me. No, I mean, I love the whole thing. And as I say, I'm privileged to be associated with my instructors like Guru Dan, obviously, you know, and as I say, people like Guru Rick, Sifu Rick Fay, you know, as I say, I haven't spoken to him I haven't trained with him in a long time, but really influential on me. Paul Vunak, I haven't seen for a long time, but really influential.
Yeah.
Eric, Sensei Eric. I mean, yeah, I'm more in contact with Sensei Eric
Hey,
now,
let's talk about Greg
but
Nelson for 2 seconds.
Greg's a beast. Greg's a beast. Love Greg. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, Greg's. I mean, Greg's Greg. He's just 100% commitment, isn't he? You know, he's just really committed to it, and he's. How can I put it? You know, he's just. I remember meeting Greg back in 1990 with at Rick's place, and we did rounds, and and I was in decent shape there, and I think we did 10 rounds. And he said, "You want to go one more?" I said, "Yeah, let's go. No problem. Yeah, let's keep it up." You know, but there was always that element where we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep pushing,
Right.
keep pushing. I think we did about 10 rounds in the Thai pads. We did knife sparring. I think we did a little bit of rolling. I might be wrong there. Some stick sparring, I think, as well.
Yeah.
But Greg is just 100% commitment, and after going through what he's been through with his cancer and everything else, that he's an amazing individual. Yeah, really, really incredible individual. Yeah,
Right.
I'm actually in awe of these people. These people really inspire me. They're really, really amazing people. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so it's like I tell people all the time. That's one of the reasons for my doing these dialogues, because we've got some of the most amazing individuals in the JKD world.
Yeah.
And and I didn't want to keep it to myself anymore. I wanted to, right?
I think it's good. Well, not because I'm on, but I think it's great you're doing it, because especially for people like that, it's okay, because I see people saying, "Oh, I want to live a life in martial arts." I say, but to live a life in martial arts, as Guru says, it's difficult because you go through so many changes. When I was 17, I had no responsibilities. I can pretty much do what I wanted, So training hard at 17, 18, 19, 20, that's easy. Training hard in your 20s, relatively speaking, is easy. In your 30s, it gets a little bit harder in your 40s, your 50s. Then when, like a lot of us, we were kind of peers, we're in our 50s now, going into our 60s, that's when it gets really difficult. That's when you've got to be smarter, And you look at guys like Eric, Greg, Rick, obviously Guru Dan, we are changing our training all the time, and that's where you have an intelligence there that it's hard to really describe to somebody who's really young. We can just jump in and do it at any time,
Right.
And also going through the injuries, going through divorce, going through deaths, going through this, going through that, just life. You think, well, this is something that it's part of it, and to go through it and to go through the decades, not just the weeks or the months or the years, but go through decades of that is really amazing. That's why, again, we get back to Guru Dan. You look at him, and I look at him now, and I just go, it's just, incredible to me what he's doing, on an incredible level. And with Rick and Greg, what he's been through and what Rick's been through, to keep going and to keep the art alive like that. Yeah, I think it's great what you're doing, because, these people really deserve that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that. Tell me a little bit about structure at the school. I mean, so if somebody walks in on Monday, brand new student, what are they faced with?
If they're a brand new student, I generally say to them, you should learn to kickbox. If they're brand new, I say you should learn to kickbox, and then I generally say to them, you can either go to. It depends, kind of, again, on how old they are, how much time they want to put in. But I would say if you only had, say, two lessons a week you were going to take, in the beginning, take 2 kickboxing lessons, or a Muay Thai and a kickboxing lesson. So we have straight Muay Thai, or we have the kickboxing, which is a blend, like an STX blend, Eric's STX. Excuse me. So I would say you can do that. If you have more time, and it depends how much time they want to invest, I would say, if they're younger, go to the BJJ, go to the CSW. So you're going to get...
Those are separate or integrated?
Those are separate, right? So we have a no-gi class, which is a CSW program, and then we have our gi class, which is a BJJ program. So, excuse me. And then, so I would have that, I would say, for a younger person to do that. So say it was somebody a little bit older, maybe in their 30s, maybe late 20s, 30s, and they didn't really look like they wanted to do BJJ, or didn't look a good option. I would say go to the Kali, so go between the kickbox and into the Kali, or into the JKD. So on a JKD, like we do the JKD on a Tuesday night, the advanced class, and we work a lot of stop hitting, you know, kind of work the footwork, work the stop hitting, you know, the Jeet, you know, work that, and then working into the trap to the grappling, you know, and so forth. So we're trying to work through the ranges there. My student Colin Heddle is a great student of mine. He's been with me a long time. He takes the Saturday morning class, which he splits between the JKD kickboxing and the Cali, and then we have Cali classes 4 nights a week.
Who else is teaching? Are you doing all of that?
I don't. I do 95% of the classes. I think 95%,
What?
something like that. Yeah. So, but you know but you know what is like? That's my job, and I love it. You know, I want to be there, and it's my name on the door, and so I want to be there teaching. Not because I'm a megalomaniac or anything, but because it's my school. But I have so many people who are. You know, I've got John Kennedy's been with me over almost 30 years now, Keith Porter for 25 years. I've got people who've been with me. The youngsters are like people who've been in me for 15 years, you know. So we've got a lot of people, we've got a lot of really good people. So like when I go away to Everest in a couple of weeks, then I'll have really, the school will be looked after. Yeah, so it'll be really looked after well. But I do feel it's my responsibility as an instructor to be there and to be in as many classes as possible. Yeah, I think it's easy to kind of go out and go, no, I don't want to teach this, I don't want to do that. But I think it's really important that I'm there. But I also think it's important to have other people teach too, because like some of the guys, like Lawrence, who takes the Muay Thai, takes a really great Muay Thai class, and he's got a different inflection in me in the way he teaches Muay Thai. You know, so it's nice to have him there. Johnny Martin, who teaches the CSW class. He has a different inflection in the way he teaches. Even if he's teaching the same technique, his method of teaching is different. So I think that's a healthy thing. So I don't want to kind of just go, hey, I'm teaching all the time and it's only me, because as much as you want to diversify, you're going to kind of have a certain way of teaching. And for my guys, you know, coming in and having a different, and we've got 6 BJJ black belts in the gym. So we've got a lot of black belts we can help with the BJJ, and they'll give their input anything. So yeah, so that's really cool. Yeah, so I do most of the classes, but I'm very open to other people doing them. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting the low battery warning, so I got to do 2 questions and then we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
What is a standing order when it comes to paying fees? I saw this on the website. What the heck is a standing order? What is that?
It's basically it's a direct debit. Do you have a direct debit in America? Like an order that you're going to put in. Say your electrical company have an order that you pay them $100 a month. So that goes in every month. So it's just a recurring order. You know, that's basically it. So that's what a standing order is. Yeah. That's a funny question. You know what's funny is I expected to get asked a lot of things, but I never expected to get asked that. That's funny. I've never been asked that in an interview. That's funny.
Yeah. Mick Tully wanted me to ask you quickly if there was anybody you wanted to train with that you didn't get a chance to train with.
The guy that I think I would like to train with again would be Steve Morris. I don't know if you know who Steve Morris is, and he was a Goju-Ryu practitioner from way back. But in my opinion, he's the best British martial artist that I've ever seen. He's on a different level. He's in his 70s now. I trained with him once, and through various things. I never went back, but his understanding of body mechanics, his understanding of structure, his understanding of violence, his understanding of the whole martial arts spectrum is next to Guru Dan, I think the best I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody like him. Yeah, he's on a different level. Yeah, so I would like to train with him again. Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming up to the end of this, and I have more people on here than we had at the beginning.
Okay, that's really nice. Thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very privileged. Thank you.
So talk to me, tell me, because you say you're going to base camp Everest.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? You're going to stay at base camp, or are you going up Everest?
No, because we're going to do a thing it's for children in Edinburgh. We got there's a place called Harmony House, which is it houses 30 children. It's 30 of the most disadvantaged children in Scotland, you know, and they're trying to raise funds to have And so basically they look after these kids here, they house them there, and they're trying to fund another house for them so we can have another 30 kids in.
Okay.
So we basically, a friend of mine said that they were going to do this charity thing, and they were going to go up Everest. And I thought, well, that'll be a challenge, because I competed for the last time.
Okay, say something.
Dwight, can you see me?
Yes.
Hi. We're back.
I'm sorry I'm putting you through so much technological stuff.
Listen, I'm a technological nerd. It's a need to know basis for me, so I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Alan Morse said it's a good thing that the phone battery gives me a limit, because he was spending too much time watching our videos.
That's funny.
Yeah. So okay. So I really don't want to take too much more of your time, but I wanted to ask you, what's the best way to phrase it? This base camp Everest thing, is internal, for lack of a different expression. It's something that's going on inside you. So what I'm trying to tap into is everything that we talked about. There is an internal component to it, but it was pretty much external. There's technique this, there's training this, there's flying to the States, there's competing in Japan, there's competing whatever, right? And that's all the physical aspects of the art. What's the inspiration or the incentive for this base camp Everest thing? Because I'm fascinated by it.
I think, for me, from the outside, it came at a time where, I competed for the last time in BGG last year, as I said. I had some friends die, which kind of gives you a perspective in life, because we get to the age where, our friends are passing away, people we know are passing away. I'm sure that's happening to you, and it happens to us as we get older. And it makes you reassess things. And, Bruce Lee said, Jeet Kune Do is simply to simplify. Mm-hmm. So we go through all this stuff in our lives where, when you're young, when you're 5 years old, you don't have a care in the world. When you're 10, you don't really care about too much. And then gradually you collect all this baggage, you collect all these things, which is a good thing. It's like techniques. You collect all these techniques and you strip them away, and you collect all these things and you go through so much in life, and, and then it gets to a point where you think, well, I want to go to the essence of what I am, really. I try and find out what I am, because, as you know, sometimes you're rushing around, you're rushing here, you're rushing there, and there's so much going on, there's so much clutter, external noise, that you don't really understand where you are at yourself, where your center is, Mm-hmm. So I think it's come a good time for me, because it helps me kind of focus on a different challenge, and going back to nature, and right. going into some of nature. There's no, there is an internet cafe up Everest, funny enough, but you get away from all the external distractions, so you can have some solitude. Even on with other people, you're going to be looking out and looking up a mountain. For 13 days, going to be in a tent going up a mountain. And I think it's really good for that, just to get back to some really basic things in your life. Mm-hmm. And it's like, as you go through life, you start to appreciate your friends more, your friends that you've had for decades. Right. You want to have a coffee with them and just reminisce, or you want to talk about what you're doing now. The people that you've known that have passed away, you think about them and you're grateful for their friendship. We look at Guru Dan and how grateful we are for him as a mentor, as an instructor, and it's really getting back to just making life simple. And as I said, Bruce Lee said, Jeet Kune Do is simply to simplify. Sometimes life like that, I think, where we get so caught up in things. Or, have I got enough money for the mortgage? Have I got enough money for this? Have I got this? Have I got that? That, you forget why you're living, and you've got to go, well, actually, I want to just enjoy life and find, more to the point, find meaning in my life. where I go, you know, and I enjoy it, and I have that, you know, that point in my life where I can reflect on things, and, you know, and not be stressed about it, you know, silly things, you know, and find out what's truly important, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it going up there. It's going to be a really good thing for me, a good challenge. You know, I've always wanted to go to Kathmandu just because of the name. I love that name, Kathmandu. You know, it's just great. You know, I just think Kathmandu. Yeah, I want to go there. I don't know what it's like, but going there and then going up the Himalayas. Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting experience. So you know, Dwight, I feel really truly blessed in my life because I've been healthy for all my life. You know, up to this point. You know, I've had great friends. I have great friends. You know, I've had great relationships. You know, I've had incredible instructors in martial arts and developed really great friendships. And, you know, I'm just blessed, you know, and I'm thankful, you know, and I really just, you know, I feel really thankful for everything I can do. And from now, you know, now in the age I am now, that I want to just not just enjoy life, but find some meaning in it and find something that's going to really be, you know, that's going to help me and also help other people. So that's why this camp's good as well. Right. This trip is good because we can help these children, you know. And when I went up there and I saw to Harmony House, the place where this is, the location, and you see the kids, and you just want to cry, you know. I mean, some of these kids have never played before. They don't know how to play. Yeah. My man was telling me today that one kid thought he was a dog because all he had in his house was the dog, and he was treated the same as the dog. And you think, my word, you know, what a horrible existence. But if we can help them, and the only way I think we can help other people is by being in a good place ourselves. Right. So if I'm all over the place, how am I going to help somebody? So if I can get myself together and be in a good place and be centered and be aware of what's going on, then, you know, then I can help other people.
Did martial art do that for you? Did it give you a center? Did it help you to, as they say, find yourself?
I think so. I think it's helping to do that in different ways because, as Guru says, you reassess every 5 years. Right. You know, what I could do when I was 18. When I was 19, I was running sub 3-hour marathons, you know. So I was running like pretty good times in the marathons, you know, for an amateur. And now, you know, it would take me 4 days to do a marathon. You know, it took me a lot longer, you know. Yeah. But you know, so you find you find out where you are physically, and then you find out where you are mentally, you know. So I would say, you know, I'm not in the best shape that I've ever been in, but I'm probably the healthiest I've ever been. You know, I feel healthy, I feel good, you know. Mm-hmm. And you know, I think sometimes when we're striving to be in really great shape, we're not that healthy, you know, either emotionally or mentally or physically, you know. So it's really nice to find that balance where we feel that we've got the physical side, which might not be as good as it was before, but mentally I feel pretty good, you know, and emotionally I feel more balanced. So everything balances out, you know.
Okay, I was gonna ask you this. I have this theory, right, that that some of us are at different ages. So our emotional age, or mental age, or chronological age, and our physical age, they might all be different.
Yes,
right?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
I know that emotionally, I'm like 17 years old.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, that makes sense because, and even for us, you know, physically, you know, you can be a 20-year-old in a 6-year-old body. You know, you could be 6-year-old and a 30-year-old body. You know, you look at Guru Dan and the way he is, you know, and I think if we don't get jaded, because it's so easy to have layer upon layer about, you know, you get jaded with this, whatever it is, you know, that if we can strip that away and then go, okay, actually, we want to kind of be emotionally fresh, as you say, like a 17-year-old. You want to be mentally aware of what the world is about. We're aware of the evils in the world, the bad in the world, but we're also aware there's a lot of really good things that we can do and we can help. Like those kids can say, well, it's terrible and it's horrific, but also what we can do is we're in a position to help, you know. We can actually maybe it's not going to change the world, but if it changes one kid's life, it's a good thing, you know. And I think anything we can do like that, martial arts can help us identify these things in ourselves, or the strengths and weaknesses in ourselves, you know. And as I said, when we're stripping away the essentials, it doesn't just mean stripping away techniques. It means stripping away, do I really need a Ferrari? Or do I need, you know, just a car to get me around? Or do I need, you know, a huge house with 10 rooms? Or do I need a 2-bedroom house, you know, apartment, you know? So, and then you really begin to see what life is I think, meant to be for us, you know, which is finding meaning. And, you know, it gets kind of, I don't mean to be, you know, kind of airy-fairy, but just to help people, you know, because, you know, yourself, if you're helping someone, you feel better than, you know, if you just help yourself, if you're helping somebody on the path, you know, or helping them just develop themselves a little bit. And we all make mistakes, and I've made 1,000 mistakes here. I mean, I've done 1,000 things wrong, but I'm trying to do more things right than wrong now. And I think the Everest thing is kind of like that. It's something where you can go up and find out about myself, do a good thing for other people, and then get some clarity back in my life, because you kind of lose the clarity because everything becomes fuzzy. You're running around, and even if you don't realize it's fuzzy, it's still there. And then when you find the clarity again, you go, this is where I want to be. I want to have this mental clarity and emotional clarity, you know.
All right, cool. Okay, so let's definitely put an official wrap up to this.
Thank you.
Give me a couple names of people you think I should get on the show.
I think Bob Breen would be great. Bob, Terry Burnett would be great.
Yeah.
I think Steve Morris, who isn't JKD in terms of, but Steve is very forthright. I mean, if you look up Steve Morris, at No Holds Barred, I think it's Steve Morris at noholdsbarred.com. If you look up him, I think he's somebody to look up, because he has such a good take, an incredible take on martial arts. But definitely Bob, Terry, I think Phil Norman would be good. These are the guys. We were the first full instructors. Ralph Jones, the first full instructors in Britain and the UK. I'm trying to think about who else, but I think those guys would be really good, because also, if you know, for your program, that I think that just getting that all round understanding of how JKD developed in Britain, you know, how it came to pass in Britain, you know.
Yeah, I did
developed.
want to touch on that, but you know, like we ran out of time. But let me just ask you this: Did you have all the politics and drama of JKD that we had in the US? Did you have that in the UK?
You know, we were pretty lucky. We were actually pretty lucky, because, you know, Bob, there's a funny story. I'll like that I'll make it fast, but Bob, Terry, and Ralph and I were in a car, right? So we were like the first 4 full instructors in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about having a JKD organization, because Guru said, well, maybe that's a good idea if you have an organization. So we both discussed it, and the meeting lasted 30 seconds. And Bob said, well, I would like this. And Ralph said, well, I would like this. And Terry said something, and I said something. And we both realized that this wasn't going to happen. Right. So we said, well, Bob, you do your thing. I'll do mine. Ralph will do his. Terry will do his. And that was it, you know. But we don't really argue. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of rivalry, or there's going to be a little whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. But nothing really bad. You know, Terry Burnett, you know, is my best friend. You know, I love Terry. You know, I love Bob and I love Ralph. And they're great people. And all of them were kind of like mentors to me at one point in time. And Phil Norman came along, and Phil was fantastic too, you know. So no, we've had politics, but to be honest, it's actually been pretty much politics free. We've been very, very lucky. Yeah, very, very privileged.
Cool. All right, man. Well, look, I appreciate this greatly. It's been a great pleasure meeting up with you again, and I hope we can do it sometime soon, man.
I would love to. And listen, thanks so much for having me on. It's a real privilege, and good luck with the episodes. I really like them. I really enjoy them. Yeah, so thank you so much, Dwight.
Okay.
Take care. Okay. Thank you so much.
Right.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'll see you.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. So, barring the technical snafus and what have you, that was episode number 54 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Quick wrap up. You guys, I said at the beginning, next week we might have a twofer, as they call it, on Wednesday, which is March, do I have my notes here? No, I don't. So let's see, let me try to calculate. I think that's March 20th, will be a three-peat with Chris Kent. And then on Friday, March 22nd will be the repeat with Burton Richardson. So I'll get the details out to you guys. Right. So remember to feel free, share, like, comment, whether you're on the YouTube or watching it on Facebook. I'll review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live on Facebook and when we post the final edits on the YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. Check out the JKD Quick Skills Series, Volume 1 at ilovejeetkundo.com. And I think that's it, right? We'll do the broadcast next Wednesday and then talk to Chris Kent thereafter. And so yeah, I'll see you next week. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good one. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing out. Take care.